everybody, my name's Jesse Daniels and welcome to Wrestling on the Fly. This is a brand new podcast on the interwebs, and we're just looking to do things a little bit differently, do something around the 30-minute time mark, and just look at what wrestlers are around on the scene right now, what they're up to, who they're facing, what's going on in their lives. So without any further hesitation, we're just going to start really quickly with our very first guest, E.C. Diamond. Hello, EC, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, my friend. Look forward to it.
Lovely. Now, you've been on the scene for a little bit now, and you've had, in my opinion, quite the career as one of the top baby faces in Queensland Wrestling, especially around that Brisbane area. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, how you got started, what wrestling means to you, how you portray yourself as a character?
How did I get started? So it started really early for me. So we were in New Zealand on a family holiday, and I saw a DVD of SummerSlam 2002. My dad got me that, and we just watched the whole thing. And then the main event, it snatched me up, and it was pretty much from there on to going through school, loving it, and I went through the bullying stages where wrestling wasn't cool anymore, and you get picked on for being.
I think we've all been through the bullying stages of wrestling not being cool, and the number of people that like to come up and go, "You do know that it's fake, right?"
Yeah. Oh, I hate that word. Ugh. Yeah. But yeah, no, I went through that stage, and then I left school because of it, because it was just non-stop, and then I came across a advert in the newspaper for a company called QCW, which was on the Sunshine Coast, which you'd know of.
I do. Best of the best champion.
Yep.
I remember that.
So I got started there and just haven't looked back. So it's been the sky's the limit really, and I'm just looking to do anything and everything these days, because the more experience I get in that ring, the better for me. And what we're building as a community for not only Queensland wrestling but Brisbane wrestling itself is it's turning into something really special, and it's way different to what it was. So I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, I can definitely attest. I remember how it was, not too long ago. And I don't want to say it was a little bit cliquey, but you did have people that were looking after their own interests as opposed to trying to grow the entirety of the community as a whole. And everybody was trying to be that first horse out of the gate. And, and that's not a bad thing, because you had people going and trying to get noticed, trying to do stuff just in their way, try and shine a spotlight on stuff yourself. You even ended up going over to OVW in the States to train with Al Snow and stuff for a bit, and bringing that knowledge back to Brisbane as well. And all the knowledge that you brought back has been able to help us. But, there were some guys that were more, I don't want to say in it for themselves, but were more focused on themselves as opposed to the people around them and trying to grow everybody as one. And at the time, I don't think that was a terrible mindset to have. But definitely as things have progressed, especially in Brisbane, everybody really has come together as a whole, and everybody's striving together, which is a very fresh change in the air. And I love it. I love seeing everybody just pushing each other to be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Amen to that. Agreed.
And, just to move on, congratulations. Pro League Openweight champion. Is that correct?
Yes. PWL Openweight champion, yeah.
And that was yourself versus Sanders Sullivan from PWA and Trent O'Day from QPW.
Yes. Yeah. QWA. Yeah.
QWA.
Yeah.
Right. Queensland Wrestling Alliance?
That's the one.
Lovely.
Yes.
Apologies, QWA.
So many letters these days. So many letters.
And there are so many abbreviations, and I have seen so many abbreviations in my time. Likewise, you aren't as old, but you know just as much of the alphabet. Yeah. Do you want to tell us about that match? Because something tells me that would be a bit of a full circle moment for you and Xander being there for a Wrestling League Revolution show.
Yeah, 100%. That was for me. I mean, when I first started, well, a couple of years in, was when I first met Xander, and he was doing the forehead thing and just absolutely killing it. You know, he was.
I remember that all
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't do it. My
Smashing it.
forehead's too small.
He was smashing it out, and you know, to get to the stage where now he's in Sydney and he's come back, and we sort of had that full circle moment, especially with Trent, because I wrestled Trent before I had my time away in 2020, and it wasn't the best match, but now we've had a few matches last year where we just killed it, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, it was just such a great moment to be in the ring with two people that I admire, and I think we did pretty well. I think we did pretty well, and for me, capturing that championship meant a lot as well, because when I came back, it was sort of like wrestling for Pro League again was my goal, and not only to wrestle for them, but to capture a championship. It was, you know, it was another thing to tick off my list, and it was very special.
You've had an outstanding year so far. Not only have you been able to do a lot of work with Pro League, but you also, I believe, for a time went back to UPW earlier on in the year, and you've done IPW a lot for the second half of the year, including a last man standing match with Zeke Andino, correct?
Iron Man match, yeah.
Iron Man match with Zeke Andino,
Yeah.
which had a really good finish as well. And I believe you were the winner in that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've had a stellar 2024. What has been one of the highlights for you?
Yeah. That match, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah,
Not
100%. It
not
was
this
just.
podcast.
Oh, and this podcast. Hey, it's 2025, man. It's 2025 now. We're talking about last year.
But
Um,
it's the first one. I am getting through it just
yeah,
like you.
yeah. No, that match was special to me because when I came back, I was so overweight and I hated my life. I didn't see any solution at that stage because I just felt so lethargic, and you know, getting through a 10-minute match was a struggle.
Mm.
So for me to work my ass off the whole year to get to that stage where we could go 60 minutes, it was special, and especially to do it with Zeke, because me and Zeke have been like this for I'd be 7 years now. I think the first time we wrestled was at a Grindhouse show. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was a
I
special
believe
moment.
I've got that somewhere as well.
Oh man, you need to send it to me because
If I've got it,
yeah,
I
yeah.
will have to look through stuff, but I should have it somewhere.
It was a great year, man. Honestly, 2024, although it was hard at times, it was very special to me because I got to come back and live my dream again. And I'm not looking back this time. It's balls to the wall now.
Yeah, 100%. Like I know exactly where you're coming from with that as well. Like at the start of 2024, I did not know what wrestling held for me, and all of a sudden, all these doors just started getting opened up. And coming back, it was hard. Because admittedly, I had let myself go a little bit in terms of just athletic ability.
Hmm.
And looking around and seeing what everybody is capable of after having time away from the ring, it does make you question yourself over and over again, even as you're doing things, as to whether or not, I think for me, and I think you have had this thought as well, as to whether or not you deserve to be there,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Um, and for me, that was hard to overcome mentally, and to have people tell me that I was doing good and that like just keep doing what I'm doing. It's what's needed. You don't, you're here because of who you are and what you do, as opposed to what we want you to be,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been an interesting year. Like high
Sure
five through
has.
the webcam. Yeah. So you've had a stellar year. You've won championships. You've
Yep.
returned to wrestling.
Mhm.
You are in the best shape of your life. I want to know how you end up always being in the main event with a belt, doing all of these things that people dream to do. I need man, next time you sweat, like just do it into a jar, bottle it for me, right? I need to know what makes, in your opinion. So many promoters come to you and they say, like, this is the guy. This is the guy that's going to sell the tickets for me. It's going to bring in people. He's the pretty boy, the star wrestler, whatever you want. Say it. Your opinion, what is it that makes people look at you and go, this guy is who I'm banking on?
I think the thing for me is I always try to relate to people. That's my big thing, right? Um, the hardest thing is trying to do it for everyone because sometimes you got 300, 400 people in the crowd. So you've sort of just got to find that niche little part and work towards that. And I've always tried to do that. Um, I don't like this. I hate this stuff. But I know that people like long hair. I know that they like Jeff Hardy and all the stretches and stuff. And so it might not be my favorite things in the world, but if I know it's going to make people happy and put a smile on their faces, that's all that matters to me, you know. Um, I love what I do regardless of anything. And if it means I have to grow this down to, my ankles, and so be it. But I think it's just trying to find what people can relate to and express it in the ring. And I wouldn't say I'm in the main event of everything. I think there's a lot of people that are way better than me that, are getting what they deserve. But I definitely try and get in that main event when I can because it still means a lot to me to be given that sort of privilege.
100%. I cannot relate because I have always just been the bad guy,
Yep.
and I've always just been the guy that I look good enough to be punched.
Yeah.
That's it. But no,
That's fair enough.
100%. Even when like I used to do AWA and stuff, and I'm like, man, look at this kid. Like I liked you, but I was like, man, I want to see him work for it first. Like I just
Yeah.
don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get a position that somebody else is working for. You
Yeah.
know,
I still
and
want to
like
work for it, man. I still want to
man,
work for
hundred
it.
percent. Your work rate, your like what you bring to. I don't want to say acquire, and I don't want to say that it's just given to you either. But what you go through to deserve the opportunities that you get is amazing. And there's a lot of people that don't know like the whole backstory and everything like that. But you're the one of the most determined. Like this is what I want. This is what I have to do to be able to do it. So I'm going to do it, guys out there. And that's something
Yeah.
that I really respect about you.
I
Um,
appreciate it, man.
100%. One day we'll have a match.
Oh, we will. We will.
It will
It'll be
be a
this year.
true good
It'll be this
versus
year.
evil.
Maybe.
So what's next for EC Diamond?
Uh, I think just taking 2025 a step further and doing better than last year. I want this. This is my life now, and it always has been. And so I'm not gonna risk losing it anymore. I've had my demons in the past, and um, addictions and stuff like that. But I've now looked at it in another light and seen that wrestling is my addiction. Wrestling is my life, and so if I want to take things a step further, then I just need to live wrestling, live, eat, breathe wrestling. So 2025 is just a year for me to get my name out there, get noticed, and live my dream.
So essentially, there's no limit to what you're able to do. You've got a whole new mindset pushing
Uh,
you, backing you all the way.
yeah, 100%. I know that I can do this. I know that I have the power to go all the way. I've just got to follow through with it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Whether it takes me 2, 3, 5, 10 years, I'm going to make it. And
Have you set some goals for yourself to get yourself there? Like
I
what?
think
Like what
the
is the
big thing
next
for
thing
me
for
this
easy?
the big thing for me this year is I want to stay here for this year. I want to get Queensland on my back like everyone else is, and get the Queensland wrestling out there. Make it stand out. And February's a big month for us all, so um, I want to make Queensland what every other state is, and then from there, then go into state, and then go overseas again and do all that other stuff. But I think, yeah, it's just working my ass off, 100% working my ass off, wrestling as much as possible, and getting better day by day.
Shit, yeah. I got told before try to limit the swearing, so I think I've been doing that quite well considering.
Hey, man, 100%. Very
Fucking A.
impressed.
So you said already, like, you're willing to do what it takes to be noticed by the fans and by other
Yeah.
people, even growing your hair. Of which,
Yeah.
like, I love having long hair. Like
Yeah,
that's
dude.
just a
No,
personal choice. The stretches and stuff like that. But who are your inspirations coming into wrestling? You
um,
mentioned before Jeff Hardy, but just out of curiosity, like EC Diamond as a character is quite a unique individual. Who are some of the people or some of the influences from like TV movies or anything that's helped you shape who EC Diamond is today?
I think more than anything, I just I grew up only watching wrestling really. Like my whole childhood, it was just wrestling on repeat. So um, for me, it was like CM Punk and all the OG guys from my era. Cena, obviously. I don't think I really took any inspiration from movies. I think because I see EC Diamond as just myself. It's not a character. It's just me exaggerated. Um, I know people don't like that I don't have a character and that I'm just maybe a creator wrestler or something like that. But I like to think of myself as myself, and I'm trying to uh, live another life. That this young kid that was bullied his whole teenage years can turn it around and become a superstar in the future. So I think, yeah, that would be my answer.
Man, you said before, like, EC Diamond isn't a character. He's just you, like, turned up to 11, 12, 15, or whatever. But I don't believe that. I believe that EC Diamond is and always has been a character, whether that's starting off as, like, the underdog that had to fight his way
Yeah,
up and get the scraps at the table to who he
yeah,
is now, like, still an underdog. But this year, like, looking at the start of it, EC Diamond was an underdog because of how you saw yourself portrayed.
yeah,
And going throughout the year, you saw the fans get behind you more. I think I spoke to you a couple of times in the locker rooms, being like, have more faith in yourself. Like you wouldn't be here if like you couldn't do it, right? So over this year, particularly, I've seen you evolve and just stop believing in yourself as being the underdog and seeing yourself as more of like the prize fighter that's
yeah,
coming out for the people, like the people's prize fighter, so to speak.
yeah,
So that's the character that I've always thought that you portrayed. And, like going into it, like you do have the stretches, the long hair, the tattoos, you do have the Jeff Hardy thing. So it's along those same lines. And I
yeah.
think like we wouldn't look at Jeff Hardy and say there's no character there. We'd look at Jeff Hardy and say that's all character.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing for me was just taking all the stuff that I put up with as a kid and just melting it down and putting it into one big pile and going, okay, this is what I'm going to use to fuel me. So in my eyes, I don't see it as a character. I just see it as life because wrestling is my life. So I don't really see it as a character, but I completely understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that because for a very long time I got told that I need a character and I need a gimmick and all this other stuff, and it's like no, I like what I'm doing and I enjoy what I'm doing. So I appreciate that though. That's really nice of
That was just my opinion. Now go down to the fancy dress shop and get yourself a character.
you. Can I wear
uh,
silver? Just all silver?
man, why not, man? Just
Yeah.
whatever you do, do not do anything devil related.
Okay, all
That's
right. Sounds good.
I
Sounds
think
good.
somebody's got that.
All right, fair enough.
Well, like you said, we've got like there's a lot of things coming up for 2025 in Brisbane, and we're kicking off the year with a massive bang with the AEW Grand Slam coming to Brisbane. Is that something that you yourself are excited about?
Oh, absolutely. Um, for the past couple of years, you've seen all these other states get these big shows like the Super Show that was in Melbourne, Elimination Chamber in Perth, and you kind of sit here and go, oh, when do we get our shot? When do we get
Yeah,
uh, our time? And
oh,
so
100%.
to have AEW come into town is it's awesome, and then we get to try and see what we can run with that, and it's a very cool thing to have for Queensland as a whole because we all get to come together after the couple of rough years we've had and the good years that we've had, and we get to rejoice and put on a fantastic super show before AEW. So it's pretty cool.
100%, man. Following that up, you've got Pro League doing their Australian Super Show the night before AEW, followed a month later by Pro League's Purge Show. Like
Yeah.
these are going to be two massive shows. Like kicking off the year with 1, 2, 3 is going to be insane. I believe IPW has wrestling in January as well during the first week or two.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that. And
Beach
then
Riot.
you've got Beach Riot, and you've got
Yeah.
other companies trying to hit January straight out the gate and really build on the momentum that this AEW show is coming, bringing to town.
Exactly.
So talking about Pro League, Pro League Openweight Championship. I'm assuming it's going to be on the line come the Super Show.
I haven't heard yet, so I'm waiting for a message. So
Yeah.
Regardless of if it's on the show or not, or if I'm on the show or not, I'm going to be there supporting what we've all put in, and I'm looking forward to supporting the boys and
100%.
girls.
100%. And then, we've got Purge after that.
Yeah.
One of the best shows of the year, in my opinion, specifically for the over the top rope Rumble with weapons. Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Always, always. I remember my first time in a weapon rumble. I brought a big box of pretzels, and I was just feeding them to Renegade, just feeding him pretzels. I remember him going, "Oh, my throat's real dry. Stop." So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I always look forward to that stuff because it's a bit of excitement not only for the fans but for us. We get to have a bit of fun with it.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like you try and figure out what you can do that hasn't been done yet.
Yeah,
Likewise,
exactly. One up it.
there is so much improv that happens during.
Yeah,
Like
it's the best kind of wrestling.
absolutely crazy. Oh man, it's so crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Moving on, if somebody was looking to get into pro wrestling today and they see you at a show and they come up to you and they say, "This is what I want to do," what advice would you have for them? Not just about where to train, but how difficult or easy it's going to be along the way. How would you talk to someone that came up to you and was like, "You are who I want to emulate"?
Well, I'd want them to know that it's not the easiest thing to do. It's some people come off the streets and they go, that'll be easy. I could do this, and it's not the case. It's grueling. It's rough, and I'm only 24, but my body's it's pretty sore. I've had a couple surgeries now, and I don't want any more. But I'd honestly just tell them to chase their dreams. Sky's the limit. If they want to do professional wrestling, then balls to the wall, go for it. Don't hold yourself back. Just send it every single day, because the more you train, the better you get. Um, you know, it it's such a unique business, and that's why I love it, because it's nothing. There's nothing like it at all. So I just tell them to follow their dreams, and the sky's the limit, because anything's possible in this business. It really is.
If you go back and see yourself before you started wrestling, when you had the dream to wrestle, and I've done this in my head, you just want to give yourself so much advice, in part to
100%. Yeah.
just to cut the time down.
Yeah.
But also, I think that journey of getting to where we are now is something that you have to undertake, and without that, you aren't who you are today, right?
Yeah. Exactly. It builds character. Apparently, character.
For some of us, we're just turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, if people want to follow you, how are they going to do that?
On Instagram, I'm Diamond Brand _ On Facebook, I've got just the EC Diamond fan page, so it's just EC Diamond. So
Lovely.
that's it. That's all I got. Just Instagram.
That's
and Facebook.
all good. Well,
Nice and
we're
quick.
going to wrap it up now. I want to say thank you to EC Diamond for coming on to the very first episode of Wrestling on the Fly, possibly the last. We will see how
No,
far my
no,
ADHD
not at
goes.
all.
But
I appreciate
no,
you having
I
me, man.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being here. Like, this is something I've wanted to see somebody do with you for a while, and I just figured, hell, it's the holidays. I got time up my sleeve. Let's do it.
I
So,
love it. No, I appreciate it, man.
man,
Thank you.
man, thank you so much for being on. I've loved having you on, and thanks for shooting the shit and just going back and forth with me.
Anytime, bro. You know where I am.
Easy as, man. Thank you very much. I've been Jesse Daniels. If you want to follow me, all of my stuff is going to be listed down here because there's so much right now, man. I've got the TikTok, I've got the YouTube for this, I've
You've
got the
got TikTok.
Instagram. Man, I got
Holy,
TikTok. I got, you
holy,
think you got big ideas? I got big ideas for this year, let me tell
holy.
you.
I love
I
it.
got, I
I
got
love
the
it.
Tiki Talk. I think I fall into the age bracket. I'm able to use it. We'll see. But all of my stuff will be listed down here. Otherwise, just click on my link tree and it will take you to everything. But again, Easy, thank you so much for coming on board, and we will see you down the road.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.